I was in Amsterdam a few years ago, and as I was at the airport getting ready to get on the plane, well, actually not quite there yet, I was in the line for the security. And it was a long line, and it snaked around before you actually got through to the security guards and the detectors and all that. And in front of me was a mother who was pushing her carriage with her child in, and I couldn't see her. Her back was to me, but I could see the baby. And I started to think about when my children were small and while we traveled of how sort of cumbersome it was and how difficult it could be. And as I'm sort of lost in thought of those years gone by, she starts to coo to her baby. And I can hear her cooing. And I see the baby reacting to the cooing, smiling and, has this response to the mother. And of course, I'm wrapped. I'm wrapped with attention. I'm watching the baby. And then as we snake around, and now we're going the other way, and the people who were behind us could now see the mother, but they couldn't see the baby. And she's continuing to coo. I looked at them, and I could see their faces soften. I could see them smile. I could see them respond as she cooed to the baby. Their faces were almost as if they were children again, rather than the sort of hardened look that they had had just moments before when I looked back the line and saw them. They were now smiling. Their faces had a reaction of, let's say, the natural child state. And this is really the power of a mother's love. This is the power of nurturing. In previous videos, we've talked about the power of being nice. And this is what I'm talking about. The idea is that when we're born into this life, we have parents, and typically a mother, who feeds us, keeps us warm, nurtures us, gives us that love. And this is called the natural child state. And this creates in us this feeling of contentment, almost what Freud would describe as the oceanic state, as if we were one with everything and had no worries. And this sense of Shangri-La, this sense of contentment is brought about because of a nurturing parent. The natural child state is a direct result or a direct response to a nurturing parent. And this is our earliest responses, our earliest associations that we have of being human and being in this world. So I want you to ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Again, it's really the honesty with yourself. The courage to be honest with yourself is the most important thing. And so ask yourself, who nurtures you in this life? Where do you go for nurturing? Unfortunately, while we may be intimate with our spouses or intimate with our significant others, a lot of us don't necessarily feel nurtured by them. And some of us, fortunately, have the good fortune of a parent or someone who still nurtures us to a certain degree. But even that's not as available. And for some of us, it's not available at all because they're no longer here. So can you count on more than one hand the amount of people that you can turn to in your life for nurturing? I'll bet you can't. And if you can, then you most certainly are lucky and have lots to be grateful for. And I hope you share that gratitude with the people who do nurture you. So if you think about it, there's a world of people who aren't getting nurtured, who aren't getting to feel this natural child state, this oceanic state, this Shangri-La, and this is what they want to feel. So if you want to have influence, if you want to have some form of, let's say, value in the people's lives around you, I promise, if you walk through the world with a nurturing state of mind, you'll find that people are naturally happy to see you. They're naturally look forward to when you see them again. They naturally help you through a difficulty you might be having. I can't tell you how many times I go to a government organization and things are just easy for me. In fact, one time I was in Florida and I'd gone to see the girl, and it turned out that I needed another piece of paper before I could get accomplished what I needed to get accomplished. So I said, no problem. I'll come back tomorrow with it. And the next day, I don't get that girl, I get somebody else. But as I'm sitting at the desk with them, that girl comes behind them and she sees me and she goes, "Oh, hi." I go, "Hey, how are you?" She goes, I don't remember what you needed, but I remember that you were really nice and you didn't swear. Even to this woman who was a stranger to me, by approaching with a nurturing state of mind, I made enough of a difference that what she remembered was how she felt. My stepmother used to tell me all the time, you could do lots of things for people, and they won't really remember anything that you gave them or that you did for them, but they will remember how you made them feel. So, I come back to this. I come back to this idea of being nice. I come back to this idea of the nurturing state of mind because it's the most effective way I've found, for myself at least, to have a happy life. We're all stuck in the matrix. It's your job to find your way out. I hope what we share helps.